Recode reports that there is an app for that, but you're probably not downloading it. The app boom is officially over, says Peter Kafka, and he's not just talking about apps from small independent developers either. Research shows that the average consumer downloads 0 apps per month. So we're done with apps. It's over. No more apps.
0 apps per month. That seems kind of high.
Yeah. Well, basically they say, people download Uber and Snapchat. Those are the only things people are really downloading. This is sad news for us that, you and I especially, who we do at least one other show, devoted mostly to apps.
Well, I mean, apps aren't the only thing that are slowing down here, right? It's also smartphones. Smartphones, are not selling nearly as well as they have historically. These are obviously intrinsically intertwined. I kind of feel to a certain degree a little bit of the magic's burnt off. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? For the last however many years, this has been the crazy thing. Can you believe all the things that this can do type thing? Mm-hmm. And I think now we're kind of at the point where, okay, it's that thing that we rely on. Yes. But do we have to always upgrade our phone every single year? No, because the one that we have still does the things we need. And do we always have to install all these new apps? No, we don't, because we have the ones we already use that we rely on every single day. And in the past, we've installed plenty of apps. And then we ended up using them for a couple of days, and then they just took up space on our phone. And we decided we didn't need them anymore. Mm-hmm. Things have just matured so much in the past 10 years that I think it, for anyone to expect that this stuff would be, lightning in a bottle forever and ever, like that's just way too much to expect. Life goes on.
Yeah. I mean, they're declining 20% year over year. So you're saying that sounds like it's expected. And then meanwhile, Facebook, which is the app that a lot of people use, 1.6 billion users, not necessarily app users, but users. I mean, that's a lot of people already using Facebook. Right. So it's at that point, it's hard. Same thing with Apple. Like it's hard to find more people. It's hard for Apple to find more people to sell phones to. It's difficult for Facebook to find more people to download their app. We're done. Let's just call it a day.
Yeah, I guess we can just go ahead and cancel plans for any future smartphone or app store. Our attention is tapped. I mean, it's a big reason why new social networks, just using social networks as a prime example, have a hard time catching any sort of movement, right? Take Peach, for example. Peach, at least in the tech sphere, had some sort of buzz going at launch, and within like 3 days had just fizzled out entirely because we've already spent so much time maturing our presence or our usage of a particular app, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it happens to be, that it's really hard for any of these new things to really kind of light anybody up to devote as much time and get it to that same space. We've made our bets. We've done that already.
We have, but who hasn't? Like the teens. So that's
sure,
where
and
I
that's
think
why,
you take something like Musical.ly, which like we were just like, where did that come from? Like that's suddenly huge. It's huge. It's the 10-year-olds love the Musical.ly. So it's something like that catches on with young people. I think we'll probably have that unless it's something that's not an app. And I don't know exactly what that is. I don't think it's like VR because that's super expensive. I don't know. So I think that's where people, if you're an app developer, I'd say aim for the 7-year-olds. That would be a good bet for you.
It keeps getting younger and younger and younger as far as
you have a 7-year-old, don't you? I mean,
I know.
What
and
is she like?
As you're talking about Musical.ly, I'm like, man, she would probably really love Musical.ly. I need to like,
she would
because she's way into listening to music and lip syncing and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know if that's reason for me to show her the app or to keep the app from her because might just be too much of a draw for her. But you're right. And, I mean, that's a big reason why Snapchat it has been able to kind of buck the trend, right? Snapchat, what is it, 5 years old now? Which is kind of crazy to think about. I think of it as being newer than that. But, it's one of the more recent social network-ish messaging platform things that's come along that has been able to still get that pickup. And that's because in the very beginning, they did target the younger audience, which doesn't have, there's still magic there. I think it's the people who've been living with smartphones for the past 10 years that are just kind of like, whatever. I get my docs on it, I get my email on it, and I have these apps that I check, and that's about all I do with it now.
But the 7-year-olds still experience joy, so.
Yes, exactly. The world is a peachy, wonderful place in their eyes. They haven't been jaded yet. And also, by the way, this is actually a really one reason why Google's Instant Apps initiative, I think, is kind of a great great idea, at least in theory, and I can't wait to play around with it, which is the sense that if people aren't installing apps, developers still have the benefit of presenting their app to them, because that might be the better way for that particular service or whatever to be presented on, let's say, a smartphone-sized device. I might not want to install that app on my device and have it occupy space there all the time and then never use it. But if I happen to do a search result for B&H, photo, and I end up getting the phone app version of it on my phone, it's basically on-demand app, essentially. And you kind of get the best of both worlds, And then maybe out of that you get conversion. I don't know. The last story ties in perfectly with this next one. Apple is gearing up for its WWDC conference for developers next Monday. And leading up to that event, Apple's SVP of Worldwide Marketing, Phil Schiller, is letting loose some changes to the App Store revenue model ahead of the event. They're saving time for other things during the keynote, so they're releasing this stuff now. Until now, it's been a static 70-30 split. Apple keeps 30% revenues, developers keep 70%. But a new change to the model is going to see Apple cutting its share to 15% if developers can keep a customer of their app subscribed to that app for longer than 1 year. So, beyond a year, if someone's still dedicated and subscribed to that app, that developer is now going to make a bigger cut. On top of that, subscriptions are opening up for all categories, including gaming. That's huge. And I just think this is, I feel like on this show and on All About Android, it's come up so often, just that, and particularly on All About Android, how developers of apps, more and more they're moving to the subscription model. And that's basically because if you develop an app and you get a lot of upfront sales, that's great when you're getting sales, but now everybody expects, forever and ever for you to update this app, which essentially at a certain point you're basically working for free. Mm-hmm. And that's not a great model for longevity for anyone who wants to make a business and build their life around developing apps. So I think subscription format is pretty great. If it's an app that you love, maybe you'll feel okay giving a regular fee for it.
Yeah, I wonder and hope that people will. So right now there's now 3 ways to make money out of apps. There's the one-time fee. I'm going to pay 99 cents or $9.99 or whatever it is. Or I'm going to have in-app purchases, which is great and, very lucrative, but annoying to a lot of us.
Yeah.
Or there's the subscription model, which in the past, a lot of subscription models in a lot of the internet endeavors have not worked so well. But, you have now Spotify and Apple Music and Google Play Music, YouTube Red, a lot of ways where it's like, okay, well, maybe this is the best way for everyone. To me, it does seem the best way, a subscription. Like, because we grew up, like we would subscribe to magazines, we would subscribe to newspapers. Like we were used to doing that and it worked. And then we went away from that. And I would like to see it come back.
Yeah, I do understand the idea or the thought. The kind of rebellion against this idea is around like I'm being nickel and dime to death on everything. Everything's a little subscription fee. I know for myself personally in the pro apps world, like on my Mac at home, I've got a yearly subscription, a software as a service style subscription to DigiDesign Pro Tools. So, I pay, I think $100 every year. And I'm always up to date on the latest version of Pro Tools. And when I write music, like that's in some ways that's better than me paying $300-400 upfront for this thing and then feeling the burden to upgrade it somewhere down the line. Here at TWiT, we have the Adobe Creative Cloud Suite, and that's kind of a software as a service solution for that. So in some ways, the subscription for software in this very way actually works really well. It'll be interesting to see if people are okay with that in a broader sense in the app ecosystem. Because, I was going to say because we install a lot of apps, but based on the previous story, I guess we don't.
We don't. This is the 2 stories are so interesting because it's like, is this revamp of the App Store too little too late? Is it too late for a lot of developers? Because I think the subscription model is going to work with apps that people need, maybe for work, and apps they really care about. Mm-hmm. And they care about the developer, and they trust that the developer is going to update them. I think that it's going to really work for those people. There are other big problems for developers in the App Store. There's search, find, discovery. App discovery is really difficult in the App Store. I mean, that is in part why like we do shows on here are the greatest apps. I've tried them. I've looked at them because it's really hard otherwise to find it. So they're kind of revamping that. Now they're adding search ads, he said. So that'll be a way to promote your ad, which is genius. Oh, wait, like advertise, for my app. So I think I don't know. I would like for it to not be too little too late, but I'm hoping that it's not. But I'm afraid it might be.
I've certainly heard about the iOS App Store that discoverability is a challenge. And so hopefully the ad search, or sorry, the ad search aspect of this, which is basically like developers will bid for a certain keyword or to have their app featured based on a particular search. There's one single ad that's offered up per search, so you're not like littered with a bunch of sponsored ads. Very similar to what Google does just in general, in search in general. So maybe that's a great way to kind of increase exposure. But in completely related news to this, Google has already been testing an 85-15 split with a few entertainment companies, according to sources, which I think is very convenient timing, talking about like controlled leaks and everything. It's like, Apple had the thing, and we'll check it out. We're, going to go ahead and leak this at just this time. So very convenient. However, the big difference here is that Google intends to deliver on the split without the year of ramp up. So it would just potentially, if this rolls out, that would just kind of be the new split as far as I can tell. The fact that this is already in the works shows that Google will possibly roll this out sometime soon. They're testing it behind the scenes, so this appears to be a trend.
Yeah, it's interesting because I mean the big, Snapchat isn't going to go to the subscription model. Uber isn't going to go to the subscription model. Facebook,
you never know.
But I mean, Uber is a service, that you pay for your rides, and it's and we've talked about their bigger plan. It's about self-driving cars, and Facebook is their bigger plan is taking over the entire world piece by piece, and that's advertising, and Snapchat also advertising is how they're making their money. So this isn't all these changes aren't going to help them any, which is good. I don't think they need the help.
Yeah, I just wonder. I think in any case, when there's desperation, things that didn't seem possible before suddenly become possible. So you never know.
You never know.